Welcome to YMCA of San Francisco's Classrooms for All. My name is Alex, and today I'm going to be showing you a really fun Lunar New Year craft. For today's activity, you will want some white paper, thick white paper is perfect, some scissors, some markers. You can also use watercolor paints or tempera paints or any crayons or colored pencils, whatever you want to use. You'll want a Sharpie or black marker and some glue. All right, so feel free to follow along with me today or just watch at home and do this on your own time. So today I'm going to show you how to make a dragon. And dragons are very popular during Lunar New Year. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Lunar New Year and why we're celebrating it and why the dragon is important. So let's get started. So we're going to be making a very unique dragon today, and we're going to be using our hands. So the first thing that we're going to do is decorate the background of our white paper. So some traditional Chinese colors, or lucky Chinese colors, are yellow and definitely red for Lunar New Year, and also some green. So I'm going to pull those colors out today. You can decorate your dragon however you want, but this piece right now is going to be the body of our dragon, and it's going to look really different than what we're expecting to be making. So just follow along with me and we'll see it all transform. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to color this piece of paper that I have here with these three colors. So you can either color it in really nicely or make your own designs around it. I'm going to go a little crazy with my drawing today, and I'm going to take my marker and just kind of make crazy lines and scribbles all across my paper. I want to fill this paper up as much as possible, but I'm going to still leave some white in the background too to just kind of give a couple of different dimensions to our artwork. So I'm making some squiggly lines across my paper. You can make some straight lines, just like this. Again, you can put whatever you want as your background. You can color it in with whatever colors you want. You can make it neat, you can make it crazy, you can splatter paint all over your background of your paper. But today I'm just going to come up with a funky design that I enjoy. So I'm doing a lot of squiggles here, maybe some swirls. All right, so far I filled my paper with some squiggly red lines. And now I'm going to go in with some other colors and add more squiggles and more designs to kind of add to that red that we just put in. So I can go around some of the lines, can fill in some of those shapes with the yellow. So Lunar New Year, while we're decorating, we can talk about Lunar New Year and why it's such an amazing holiday. So it comes from Chinese culture, but it's celebrated all over the world. So billions of people celebrate Chinese New Year, which is an amazing, amazing thing. Just like we would celebrate out here Christmas or Hanukkah or any holiday that we normally do, like Thanksgiving. Lunar New Year is a big part of Chinese culture, and it's usually celebrated between January and February every year, but the date changes every single year, so you don't know what day it's going to be at each year. So this next year, 2021, this year, it is going to be on Friday, February 12th. So Lunar New Year will start on February 12th, and it's a celebration, a festival that lasts for up to 15 days. So for 15 days, there's different traditions that are done, or different things that people do to celebrate those days. It could be visiting loved ones, it could be celebrating loved ones that have passed away, or having festivals, or giving out some money or gifts to family and friends. So it's a big, big celebration. And what I was reading about Lunar New Year was that it started off of this legend of Buddha, who, so you can see my squiggles right here. So Buddha called all the animals together on New Year's, and their New Year's is very different than the one that we celebrate here right now. So our New Year's that we traditionally celebrate is January 1st, but it's, now it's going to be February 12th for Lunar New Year. But Buddha called all the animals to come, and the animals that showed up were given a day or a year that was dedicated to them. So there's 12 zodiac signs named after those 12 animals. And the zodiac signs are the rat, the ox, the tiger, the rabbit, the dragon, the snake, horse, goat, monkey, rooster, dog, and pig. So last year, it was the year of the rat. And it goes in order of that list that I just gave you. And so this year, 2021, it is the year of the ox. So we are celebrating the year of the ox. And the reason we're making a dragon, even though it is one of the zodiac signs, but the last day that is celebrated of Lunar New Year ends with a lantern festival. And in the lantern festival, it's usually celebrated at night, where there's a parade and beautiful lanterns that are created and released out into the air. And it also has a lot of dragon dances, which is a big highlight of the last day of Lunar New Year. And these beautiful handmade, usually dragons made of silk and paper and beautiful designs are danced throughout the street or danced throughout a parade for people to enjoy and to watch. And so I know a friend of mine at the YMCA that is a really amazing dragon dancer and has been doing it for years, and she does all kinds of parades during Lunar New Year. So it's a beautiful sight to see. So today we're going to make our own dragon dancer out of the paper that we're decorating right now, and with some of our hands and some other skills that we're having today. So I'm just adding some more squiggles, finishing up filling in some of those blank spaces. Again, you don't have to fill the whole paper up, but we're going to want enough covered so that we are going to see some of these designs in our final project. I kind of like the design of squiggles and mismatchy shapes and colors because it makes it very unique and your own piece of artwork. And that I could never recreate this exactly, so that's what I love about that. All right, so I have now my finished squiggly design for my background. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab that black marker that I have. You could use any color marker, but the black will show up a little easier. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trace my hand as many times as I can on this piece of paper. So if you're at home and you have a smaller piece of paper, you might wanna do this a couple times on a regular sheet of paper so you have enough of your handprints to go around, okay? So I'm using this huge piece of paper so I can have a bunch of my hands fill this page. So what I'm gonna do is find an empty spot, and I'm going to trace my hand. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm going to do that over and over again until I can't fit any more hands onto the paper. And every time I trace my hand, I end up getting a few marker marks on my fingers, and that's okay. That's the beauty of art class and art activities. You get a little messy sometimes. I'm gonna fill this one. So the reason we're making handprints is these are going to be the body of our dragon, and they're gonna kind of look like scales when we put them all together. So it's gonna make this really cool effect when we glue them together and make the body. So now I have 4. I can probably fit maybe 4 or 5 more depending on how I can fit my hands in there. If dragons were real today, I would love to see one that has some crazy colors on it, like these beautiful yellow and greens. And I would hope that they looked as beautiful as the dragon dancers in Lunar New Year festivals, because those ones are amazing. All right, I can fit probably 2 more hands, maybe, if I squeeze them in. Here we go. Okay. So now I have a bunch of my hands traced out on this piece of paper. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to cut them all out, okay? So let me grab my scissors and carefully I'm going to cut them out. And sometimes it's easier if you have a big piece of paper to cut them out of that big piece first and then go ahead and do the detailed cuttings too. So that's what I'm going to do with this. So I cut it out. Go around. All right, so I have my first hand, or now I should say scale to my dragon. I'm gonna put those scraps over to the side. I might be able to reuse those for something else, maybe to make a party popper for Lunar New Year. So you can cut those into little smaller parts and use those for fillers of a party popper. And again, I'm gonna cut out these hands so that I can easily cut them out from this big sheet of paper. So it's gonna take a little bit of time, and that's okay. You don't have to rush, especially if there's a lot of hands to cut out like I have. It's gonna take some time. So here in San Francisco, we celebrate Lunar New Year at the YMCA in our after-school programs. I know that in the programs that I've run, we've definitely celebrated it, and the whole school actually has this big festival and celebration and concert that they put on for Lunar New Year every year. And on that holiday, we acknowledge it by taking the day off, just as we would the 1st of January. And we celebrate with our family and friends at home, if you choose to do so. And oftentimes, or every year, they'll have a Lunar New Year festival in Chinatown in North Beach here in San Francisco. And it's really beautiful. And the dragon dancers are there and they go through the streets. So I know that this year will probably look a little different. So hopefully we'll be able to see on television or on our computers a celebration of Lunar New Year, maybe across the world. So that's what's really amazing about the internet and the TV sometimes, is that it can connect us to parts of the world and let us see how people celebrate different holidays around the world. So this is a major holiday across the world, and people all over the world celebrate it. So there's probably plenty of stuff we can see on TV or on our computers. So even if we can't go to the festival, we can still make really fun dragon and decorations right at home. So if you're making this at home too, you don't have to even use white paper. You can grab some red construction paper or yellow construction paper, green construction paper, and make these that way and save you a little bit of time with it too. And if you're using watercolor, you can paint that all the way over and let it dry, and then go ahead and trace your hands over after. So there's endless possibilities to how you can make these awesome dragons. Now that I have my hands cut out, now we're going to form them into our scales. So what you can do is you can put them any way that you want. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue them one on top of the other, but with just a few of the hands kind of overlapping about halfway through, so that they're still kind of attached. They're attached by the palm part of each of their hands. So on this one, it'll be attached to the top of the palm. This side, it'll be attached to the bottom of the palm, so that you can see the fingers as scales on our dragon. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is take some glue and put some on the bottom or lower part of our hand, or one of our hands. And you can use tape for this too if you want. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay my next hand flat over that around the top part of the palm, so right underneath where the fingers are, so that it looks like that. And then a fun thing that you can do is if you want your dragon to look like it's moving, you can start angling your hands as you go. So you can kind of turn them or move them in waves around too. So depending on how many hands you made, you can angle them and make it look like the dragon is moving or has a wave in its body. So I might try that as we get going here. So I'm going to take another bit of glue, and right on top of that one that we just applied to that first part we glued, I'm going to do the same thing, put glue on the bottom, oops, and I'm going to lay my next hand kind of at an angle here, right on top, like this. So we want the fingers to kind of not be stuck to the other hand, so that way that they move and they kind of look like little scales hanging out of our dragon. Okay? We're gonna do the same thing over and over again until we get to the end. Do this. More of an angle for this one. Like that. And keep going. So you can see it's starting to make a curve, so it's going to keep going up, and then I'm going to bring it back down. Like that maybe, or I can turn it, make it angle to the other side so that it starts to go down again. You can make it look however you want. You can see it's starting to angle a little bit more. And this already kind of looks like a dragon, to me at least. And then the last one, I'm going to do the same thing as I did before. Glue it like that. Cool. So I'm going to let this dry as we now make the last part of our dragon, which makes it a dragon entirely, is the head and the tail of our dragon. Okay? So I'm going to put this off to the side to dry, and I'm going to use this next sheet of paper to draw my dragon head. So you don't have to draw your own dragon head. On Google, they have some amazing templates of a dragon head or side profile. So the side profile is what we're going to be looking for, is just the side view of a dragon's face. And they have a tail one too that you can print out and color in and use at home. But today, to challenge myself a little bit and to show you how I draw a dragon, I'm gonna do that right now. So I'm gonna take that Sharpie And I'm going to draw a dragon the way that I've learned how or that I feel comfortable doing. You can make your dragon look way different than mine once you kind of get the hang of how you want to draw it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw one kind of hump looking part, which is going to be the eyes, a little curved black line, kind of like a half circle. And then attached to that, I'm going to make a straight line kind of forming the snout or the nose of the dragon. We don't want to make this too big because it's going to have to be on our dragon body. And the next thing I'm going to do is make two more smaller curved circles or half circles. And then I'm opening for a mouth like that. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is make an angled line from where we went to the middle of the mouth to make the bottom. And I'm going to bring that up. So right now it kind of looks like a crocodile, which I feel like crocodiles and dragons look pretty similar to each other, but that's just me. And I'm going to kind of bring this down a little bit like that. So we created our eye circle and then a straight line to form the mouth and two little circles right here to form nostrils. And down here is where our mouth is going to be, and we're going to continue it back. All right, the next part is to kind of add some dimensions to our dragon. So dragons often have little horns or wavy, kind of pointy scales on them. So that's what I'm going to do to this one. I'm going to bring some wavy kind of moves here to the top of the dragon. And this doesn't have to be perfect. You can even do a second layer up as well. Kind of look like flames a little bit. All right, so I have this now on the top for my dragon. And we're not going to go all the way across because this is just going to be the head part of our dragon. The next thing I'm going to do is draw the eyes, or one eye, because we're doing a side profile. So if you're looking at me from the side, you can only see one of my eyes. So that's exactly what we're going to do here. So I'm going to draw what looks kind of like an ice cream cone from the side, like that. And then you can fill it in with a pupil, or a big black circle, whatever you want your eye to look like. And then I've seen some dragons that look like they have some eyelashes, so I'm going to put eyelashes on my dragon for fun. And then I'm going to fill in two circles for the nostril of my dragon. And then I'm going to give it some teeth. And then to add some last dimensions to our dragon, sometimes they have what look like little whiskers or mustaches on them. So I'm going to add a little whisker to mine and some scales on the side. And maybe some cool designs on the bottom of the dragon, like that. And that's our dragon head. And I might even cut off some of this when I attach it because it might be too big at the end. So you can go ahead and color in that, or you can draw your tail next and color it, both of them in after. So I'm going to show you how I draw the tail, which is the simplest part. And it's going to look like a curved kind of line, like that. So they're going to make a shape that looks kind of like a tail, or like a fox tail, I would say. And I'm going to add a little bottom part and maybe some lines underneath. You can add more scales. And the same kind of marks that we would for the top of the head. Okay, so I'm gonna make a line there to show where I'm gonna cut, and a line where I'm gonna cut the dragon to. So I made my line right there on my dragon tail, and then I'm gonna make a line where I'm gonna cut the head for my dragon head. Okay, so now we can decorate, and what I'm gonna do to save some time is I'm gonna do the same kind of design that I did for the tail on the dragon, but maybe kind of specify where I want to put these red colors and the green colors in there too. So I'm gonna do similar designs, but keeping it in my drawing. The last part is to cut it out and to attach it to our dragon body. So let's go ahead and cut out our head and our tail. Now I might have made mine super big, so it might look a little funny. Okay, so I have my head of my dragon, and now I'm going to cut out the tail, and then we'll attach them all together. Okay, so I'm going to put these scraps of paper over to the side and bring back that dragon body that we were working on. Now that it's mostly dry, I'm gonna find where I want to glue my tail and my head to my head and my tail to the dragon body. So I'm going to put, I think, the dragon head right here and the tail right over here. So I'm gonna find a place where we're gonna glue it. So I'm gonna put my glue on top of the hand that's right on top here. And I'm gonna glue the head of my dragon right on top. And then for this side, since it's a lot of the fingers on the end, I'm gonna put the glue on the back of my dragon tail and place it where I wanna place my dragon tail. So I'm gonna flip my dragon tail over, put my glue at the end of my tail, or back part of my tail, and I'm gonna place that right over the hands and the back. And there you go. You have your amazing, delicate paper dragon. And a way that you can kind of hold it steady is you can add some popsicle sticks to it and hold it and move it around. It can move it from side to side. This is an awesome craft to do at home with your own two hands and some fun decorating. Thank you so much for joining me and making some amazing Lunar New Year dragons for this upcoming Lunar New Year. And if you would like to see more classes, you can go to YMCASF.org/classrooms4all. We hope to see you all there. Happy Lunar New Year!
Did you know that YMCA of San Francisco never closed? When shelter-in-place happened, we could no longer provide in-person programming. We quickly shifted to provide youth and family programming virtually. As early as April, we started providing on-demand activities in our YMCA of San Francisco YouTube channel.
For this video, we're going to be making a geodesic dome.
Today, we're going to be making a hovercraft. The science around this activity is really awesome.
In addition, we have a regular schedule of activities for our youth and families to join live. We feature read-alouds, yoga, family Zumba, arts and crafts, drawing clubs, and more. So don't miss out on our virtual youth and family offerings. Visit www.ymcasf.org for more info and class schedules.